So I just wanted to take a second to make a quick video to show you how you're going to complete this assignment. So when you actually open up your assignment, it's going to look like this. So you're going to be doing ray diagrams for me. You're going to see there's going to be a ray diagram per page. To show you how to do it, I'm actually going to go to the object at C. This is actually the one you did in class, so you'll have seen those answers yourself. So you notice here that we've got a drawing. If I click on it though, you can see this little arrow pop up here. What I want to do is I want to open the source to this drawing. You're now going to be able to actually add your rays directly to this drawing. So we're going to insert incident rays. Remember, incident rays are always going to be aligned with an arrow. So we're going to start with the first incident ray. I want to go in parallel and I want to come out through F. So I'm going to line myself up directly with the top of my object, and I'm going to go in parallel. Now remember, you want to make sure you're exactly parallel. So if you take a look on the left-hand side of the screen right now, you can see that this line is parallel because those blue lines are straight. So find the left-hand side of the screen, find that little blue line between 3 and 4. If I'm not parallel, it'll look like this. If I'm not parallel, it'll look like this. So you can make sure that you get your line exactly parallel by having those blue lines be totally lined up. So I've got my incident ray. Remember, anytime that a line goes in parallel, it's going to come out through F. So I'm going to draw myself a second line now. I'm going to click on exactly the spot where that arrowhead meets that mirror, and I'm going to come out through F. Now in this assignment, what I asked you to do is right through the middle of F. There we go. I asked you to use at least 2 lines to locate your image. You can use more than 2 lines if you want. I'm going to show you how to use your second line. So my second line I'm going to draw is I'm going to come in through F. I'm going to come out parallel. So I'm going to again line myself up exactly with the top of my image. I'm going to draw a line that's going to go through F, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit my mirror. Now, any line that goes in through F is going to go ahead and it's going to come out parallel. So exactly where this hit my mirror, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to come out parallel. I'm going to make sure those lines are nice and lined up there. There we go. Now I can see where my 2 reflected rays meet. Remember, you have to have at least 2 reflected rays in order to have an image. So what I'm going to actually do on this diagram now, I'm going to draw in my image. I'm going to draw in just a second arrow. So I'm going to select shapes. I'm going to go to arrow. I'm going to select a down arrow, and I'm going to put like the butt of the arrow right on this perpendicular here, and I'm going to go down until I meet where my lines cross. So here I can see my image. I can make this bigger if I want, so you can actually see it. All right, so if we go back to our diagram here, you can see we've got the original. So all I want you to do is, in order to actually put this diagram into the original, all you want to do is you are going to go to File, make a copy. I'm going to call this answer. Okay, this copy is now in your drive. So all you need to do to actually take that diagram and put it into your answer, you can do one of 2 things. You can delete this original, that's fine. Or what you can do is just right below, I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Drawing. I'm going to go from File. And then, my most recent one, there it is. Insert. So now I've gone ahead, I've inserted my actual answer there right below. So this is what's going to get you marks. The last thing that you want to do is you want to describe to me SALT of this object. So remember, SALT is size. So I'm going to take a look and I'm going to say that these are approximately the same size. I'm going to take a look, and attitude is whether or not it's inverted or upright. Well, this looks upside down to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say upright. Location is where it's located. I want to be as specific as possible. So we have a couple locations. You could say beyond C if it's past C. Here, it's actually right on C. So I would call this at C. You could also have between C and F. You can have right at F. You can have between F and the mirror, or if anything looks like it's behind the mirror, you can say beyond the mirror as well too. Type, you have two options for type. You can say either real or you can say virtual. In this case, since I didn't have to use any dotted lines, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say real. So that's actually your answer for one of them. So you can go ahead, copy that out, try that yourself. You have a couple other images that you have to do yourselves. Some of them are more challenging, so I put in a little hint here. Again, some of them are a little bit more challenging. So what I did is you actually have a link to a gizmo as well too. It's right below your assignment. So your gizmo is gonna look like this. You're gonna log into Gizmo and it's gonna say ray tracing mirrors. So you can go ahead, open that up, hit launch Gizmo, and all this does is it allows you to actually play with this and kind of get the answers through trial and error. So what I want you to make sure, if you're going to use this gizmo, make sure you hit it to concave mirror first. And then what I would do if I were you, I would go ahead, I would hit colorize these lines, makes things a little less confusing. And for now, I would say turn off the apparent light, but leave the other ones on. Now, this little blue dot here, this is where your focal point is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set my focal point to -10. I would suggest that you do the same. That allows me to make sure that I can see my focal point and I can see my C. There's no dot for C in this case, but remember that C is twice as much as F is. So in this case, if I set F to 10, my C is now 20. If I set F to 5, which you can do as well too. Maybe you can't, just kidding, won't let you do it. So leave it at F, and then your C is gonna be at 20. What this is gonna allow you to do is it's gonna allow you to actually see where your object is and where your image is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this object at C. I'm placing it at C because that's the one that we already did. That's the one that we actually know the answer to. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna place this object at C. Remember, C is double F. C is gonna be at 20. And you can actually see all the different light lines. You can actually click through and look at one line at a time. So this is actually the first line that we drew. We went in parallel, we came out through F. The second line we drew, this is the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. And the other line we drew, we went in through F, we came out parallel. So you can actually see each of the individual lines, and you can actually see where the object is going to be. So therefore, when you want to go beyond C, you can move this beyond C and try to copy those lines. You can move it at F, try to copy those lines, and you can move it before F as well too. So one thing that I do want to point out, notice that sometimes an image pops up over here. That might happen. You might have it that an image pops up over here. If an image pops up over here, what you're going to want to click on is the apparent light rays. Anytime that there's an image behind the mirror, it's a virtual image, and you're going to want to look at those apparent light rays. You're going to need those apparent light rays for your diagrams. So again, you can go ahead, you can click off, and you can actually see if I go in through F, or if I go in parallel, it's going to come out through F, but it's going to look like the light is coming from this direction. You can show me apparent light rays as well too on these diagrams. If you ever have to show in an apparent light ray, all you need to do is you just need to draw for me a line. And then see right here, these are just line dashes. So you can just draw for me a line. You can make it a dashed line, and that's how you can actually show me apparent light rays as well. So you have one of two options for this assignment. You can go ahead and just use your ray rules, and your ray rules will work, and you're going to be able to locate the image. If you get stuck at all, you can go ahead and you can use the gizmo, move it around, and try to copy what the gizmo is doing. This is a great way to solve these problems as well too. So what you need to do for this assignment is you need to make sure that you do your ray diagram and do your SALT for all 5 images. When you're done, you can go ahead and put it into the Dropbox.